Beneath the forests of Vietnam, a hidden world once stretched for hundreds of miles. Dark, narrow, and carefully constructed, these tunnels were more than just holes in the ground. They were living systems, complete with kitchens, hospitals, and command centers. In this feature, we explore the genius design of Vietnam's war tunnels, how they were built, how they were used, and why they remain one of the most remarkable feats of wartime engineering. The Vietnam War lasted from 1955 to 1975. It involved North Vietnam, supported by Communist allies, and South Vietnam, supported by the United States and others. Much of the fighting took place in jungles, rice fields, and villages. In these environments, traditional military strength often meant little. For the Viet Cong, fighters supporting North Vietnam, the An Sa Lê Underground. The most famous network of tunnels was the Si Chi system, located near Saigon, now Ho Chi Minh City. These tunnels became central to guerrilla warfare. They allowed fighters to move undetected, launch surprise attacks, and then vanish as if into thin air. To many soldiers facing them, the tunnels felt like a ghostly presence in the war. The tunnels were dug by hand, often using simple tools like shovels and baskets. Workers carried soil away under cover of night to avoid detection. Despite the primitive methods, the results were extraordinary. At their peak, the Si Chi tunnels stretched more than 200 miles. They were multi-level, with some sections dug as deep as 30 feet. Entrances were hidden beneath leaves, roots, or even in the floors of houses. Trapdoors were designed to blend perfectly with the ground above. The interior was far more complex than simple crawl spaces. There were living quarters, kitchens with smokeless chimneys, meeting rooms, and makeshift hospitals. Some tunnels had wells for water, ventilation shafts for air, and storage areas for weapons. Certain sections were reinforced to withstand bombings or flooding. The design also included defensive traps. Some tunnels narrowed deliberately, forcing intruders to crawl slowly while defenders waited ahead. Dead ends, false passages, and booby traps further protected the system. For those inside, life was harsh but possible. Heat, humidity, and insects were constant challenges. Food was scarce, and disease spread easily. Yet, the tunnels allowed fighters to survive, regroup, and keep resisting. The tunnels were not just a physical structure, they were a strategy. By using them, the Viet Cong neutralized many advantages of their opponents. American forces relied on helicopters, heavy artillery, and advanced weapons. But those tools were less effective against enemies who could vanish underground. The tunnels also provided psychological advantages. For soldiers above, knowing that unseen fighters could emerge at any time created constant tension. It forced the United States to commit resources to detect and destroy tunnels, often with limited success. Special tunnel rat units were formed. Small soldiers trained to enter and clear tunnels. Their work was extremely dangerous, involving confined spaces, traps, and the possibility of sudden attacks. Despite these efforts, many tunnels survived until the war's end. In the larger view, the tunnels showed how determination and ingenuity could counter superior firepower. They became symbols of resilience, reflecting how a smaller force could resist a much larger one. Today, sections of the Si Chi tunnels are preserved as historical sites. Visitors can crawl through short stretches, experiencing a fraction of what fighters once endured. Standing inside, it becomes clear that these tunnels were more than military tools. They were lifelines, shelters, and symbols of survival. The genius design of Vietnam's war tunnels remains a lesson in strategy and adaptation. They remind us that in war, strength is not always measured in numbers or weapons. Sometimes,